Hi, my name is Anthony Schmidt, and the topic that I chose for this is fraud control. Fraud control is when someone of trust prevents behavior that affects a company or business in a positive way that is not legal. The journal that I chose is the Journal of Economic Literature. As you can see, their cover page in the top right corner, blue picture. The Journal of Economic Literature talks about various different things taking place in today's economy and the business world. The overall goal of the Journal of Economic Literature is to cover updates on current economic and business news. The people that typically subscribe to the Journal of Economic Literature are people looking to stay informed and updated with current economic statuses and situations occurring throughout our daily lives. Just trying to stay informed, keep abreast. The target audience is students, teachers, employers, and of course economists themselves. I found the majority of this information on the Journal of Economic of Literature's website, and the purpose of the writers is for them to leave a lasting impression on those that are reading their articles, and at the end of the day, the people reading the articles leaving with information that they didn't already know about before they read it. The journal's writing conventions entail going through lots of steps, tedious, very long, drawn-out steps. This is intended to get the article, thoroughly, looked over and made sure that it's good for their readers. Those that intend to get a piece published in their articles and their journals must go through various editors, and you must submit a outline somewhere between 5 to 10 pages in length, giving an overview of the article and why it deserves to be seen by the subscribers of the Journal of Economic Literature. It must be observed by many editors and hard observation. Just lots of observation. Got to make sure it's worth their time. It doesn't need a length limit. Diagrams are not necessary, but help for trying to display information and get your point across when presenting the information. The article stays very close to the topics at hand and are very fact-based and to the point. The articles are informative pieces of work. They support. The support comes from mathematical equations and research. Graphs, tables, and charts help with presentation. Very, very long articles, typically, somewhere in the 1,000-page range. Very long, very long. Published annually, 4 issues per year, and are published digitally on their website. Okay, so my annotated bibliography. I chose to use all of my articles because they were very useful and helpful in presenting the information that I needed to talk about when talking about fraud control. They gave me lots of examples. For example, my article by Richard Bolton, Statistical Fraud Detection, talks about just their fraud, how to prevent fraud and what technologies they use, and all this different kind of information on how people do it and what kind of things it takes for them to skate by. Then I have the prevention and control of economic crime. This one talks about what takes place during fraud, and it's like how, oh, my bad, how they lose money and stuff like that, like what kind of protection, and like how they destroy trust by going through and doing these things. Then I have another one, defense procurement fraud. And this one's talking about like the military and how things work in the military and how they have specific rules and regulations when talking about the people that control their money and how they're getting their supplies, and how they kind of go into detail with how it can affect even the military world. It's not just necessarily businesses and corporations, but also like the military. And then I have another one. It's booms, busts, and fraud. This one talks about how they hide fraud control, like within their numbers, like in the books, how basically people write higher numbers within the books so that they withdraw money, and they kind of just they snake money through the books. They don't necessarily just kind of, well, basically how it's done really, and like poor prevention really doesn't help with it. And then my last one, corporate fraud and business conditions, basically talks about how accountants think, and by helping investors, they're helping everyone in, succeeding in, furthering the business and themselves, considering like the investors, will try and give out, incentives for the accountants to cheat the system. Just these articles help me in giving me thorough examples on how I can, structure my paper and what I needed to talk about. My claim, the claim of my paper is that fraud control takes lots of time and thinking and different methods to catch those cheating the system. The overall summary of the paper entails what fraud is and what it does for the large businesses and corporations, how it hurts them, and the benefits of doing fraud, even though it's necessarily not the best, but there are benefits to those corporations that do decide to do so. Though many struggle with fraud, many spend time thinking of ways to make it happen, and that's just how fraud takes place. I mean, it's just one of those things that's unavoidable, and it's never going to go away unless, it really, I don't really think it'll ever go away. It's kind of one of those things that is very hard to detect, and even though there's new prevention methods, there's always people coming up with new ways of how they can get around it, and it's just fraud control for you.